So today I'm going to be doing an actual tier list instead of reviewing somebody else's tier list. And it's going to be a free-to-play tier list. So I'm actually going to do two tier lists in one, and both free-to-play. It's going to be free-to-play early tier list and free-to-play like level 75. And like I'm doing two different tier lists at the same time because some of the characters actually change. Like when you first get them, Sakura being a good example. Sakura is not a very good character until she hits like level 65. Then after that she becomes alive. Like some of the actual characters actually change like close to 75, and then some of them change again at 81 when they get the 81 skill. But like I said, this is going to be a free-to-play tier list, so I'm not gonna do anything with awaken points, no 81 level skills. Like again, free to play. So even though Annerose is on this tier list, I'm not gonna put her in anywhere. And this tier list is actually from the Action Taimanin Brazil channel. He did a tier list a few weeks ago. It didn't have Hebiko, but I haven't played too much with her, so I haven't exactly settled where I want to put her in the tier list. But I'll on this one will include Eleanor. The reviews I did before didn't have Eleanor, so I mean, like I said, it was reviews of other people's tier list. This is gonna be my tier list, but a free to play early and a free to play, I guess, late or mid, whatever you want to call it. And it's mostly going by SR builds, and with maybe some super rares. Like if it's an event super rare or event weapon where people get them free to play, get them easily, then that's what I'm ranking them, these people, by the Action Taimanin characters. Like if they're free to play friendly, you know, super rares, event supporters, event weapons, SR weapons, SR supporters, Magatamas, you know, like that. No ultra rare Magatamas, no like I said, no awaken points, no Annerose, no Hebiko. And I'm gonna start with the founding three, and with that I'm gonna go with Asagi first. And for Asagi, when she's early, I would say Asagi is probably like S rank when you first start out, because with her Gojinka she could just handle pretty much all the content. She can handle it all throughout. I mean, she can just pretty much handle it. You're gonna spend a long time because she does not hit hard, but since she slows everything down, she will clear all the easy content easily. And as you build her, then she'll be beat all the normal and then all the hard. But this one's like the level 1 to 60, 65, whatever. And then this is the tier list I'm gonna use for like the level 75. And at level 75, Asagi starts to drop to A, because like I said, she does not hit very hard. And so she starts to, she never really struggles, but like the game starts to drag on for how long you just Kojinka and attack. You're like chipping away at bosses, and so she doesn't feel exactly as great to play later as she did when she was like when it was early game. So level 75 she's A. Beginning she's S, because like I said, she will clear all the content real easily. Next person we're gonna go with is Sakura. And Sakura starts off bad. She's like C tier, and like she does not, she has a sustain, but she doesn't come alive to like level 60, around 65, because her defense is low. So she gets her attacks are real like close quarter. They don't have like long reach, so she has to get in close, but her defense is still low. And she has a sustain move, but she does not hit hard enough for it to do anything. And so I mean, she has the snare, and you're just gonna be snaring, trying to stay alive, and then waiting for your sustain to get up again, so you could like use your sustain move, and then, or you can use the green, and you could, if you use the green, you can attach her weapon that gives her sustain with the skills. And you can do that with Asagi too. All the three first members have that weapon plus Murasaki, but Murasaki doesn't need it. But their skill damage is so low. It's gonna you're gonna beat the level, but you're gonna take a long time. It's like it's like a battle of attrition. Who can go down first? Because I mean, you will get sustained, but its sustain is so low. It actually doesn't even feel very good to play. So at the early levels, like 1 to 60, she's a C character because it's gonna take a long time, even longer than Asagi. And then at later on later on, I say Sakura actually, with her sustain and her ability to control the things, she actually moves above Asagi because her sustain gets way better and her defense gets way better. So she'll actually clear content a lot faster than Asagi, even though Asagi will probably clear more of the content, but it'll take a lot longer. And Sakura will actually clear it, and if you know how to play her, you'll be able to keep her sustained and around. And that brings us to Yuki. At the beginning level, Yuki goes, she's SS because actually only for green. She's only her green build because her red and the blue are not that, they're probably like maybe even B tier, but her green has awesome sustain, and I mean, she will clear a lot of content hit way above where she's at, and it'll feel, I mean, if you pick Yuki, she'll clear all the content, even with some bad weapons, and she pretty much stays there because like I said, she has a high sustain, she's ranged, so she won't get too hurt, and she can do heavy damage, and she can control the fight, and she will just I mean, she's probably the best character you can get for all of them because she starts at SS and she stays at SS. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily rank her that high, but I mean, from the first three, she will. And then compared to the other characters, she heals very well, and she doesn't die very fast, and she packs a punch. The next characters I'm gonna go, that was the first three, the founding three. The next one characters I'm gonna go are to more the utilitarian, like they might not be as fun to play, but they hit hard and they sustain very, very well. And for that, I would say early let's go with the first utility character. The first utility character is I would say Emily, because she can clear a lot of the content. She's ranged and she's SS. She's easy to build because her skills do a lot of damage and heal, and she can be multicolored. She can be red, she can be green, she can be blue. Blue has the best sustain, but I mean, she pretty much has sustain on all her builds, and even in mixed color, she's real good. She'll clear a lot of content. On 75, I say she'll still clear the content, and she's still SS. And if this was an end game tier list, she probably might drop down. But like, let's say at level 75, where you're able to handle level 75 content and a little bit above that, a few VR levels, she's still really good. And she'll her auto attack, her auto farming. She's, like I said, she's a utility character, not very fun to play, but you should get her early on because, like I said, she will farm for you, auto farm. The next person up is Murasaki, the Immortal. Oh, I was gonna put this one first, but she goes SS on both. She hits hard. She has crazy sustain, and so she'll also clear content way above her level at any time. She will just, she's mostly her green build, but she can do the other builds. But I mean, green is her greatest sustain build, and I don't think it's her necessarily her most fun build. I think red's her more fun build, but I mean, this is in terms of, I'm taking this in terms of like just clearing content. So that would be Murasaki. The other person on the SS list, more utility, is also, I mean, pretty much all the utility characters are going to be SS because they're not, maybe not the most fun to play, but they are the ones that will get you through the content. The next one coming up is Shizui. Shizui has a personal bodyguard, and every now and then she'll take pot shots, but that bodyguard never flinches, never stops attacking, and she has crazy sustain, and she will be able to beat levels way higher than her because her stand guardian will just protect the heck out of her while you're in the like just getting away for a few moments to breathe and heal. And so she will clear content like crazy. So if she starts SS, she stays SS, and she actually probably starts turning more into an SSS character. And like I said, she is a really good character. Again, maybe not the funnest to play, but a great character. She's still pretty fun. Like I said, most of the characters are fun, especially there, and they also have, all of them also have a not so fun build and a more fun build. If you can get one that you enjoy playing, but it's also really strong, you can try out different builds, because I've seen some crazy builds that work, especially if you have the supporters, the weapons, and the magatamas to pull off different builds in case you don't like the way they play, because they come with a variety of skills and they can totally play different. But I'd say Shizui's pretty fun to play. I mean, not the best, but pretty fun. The one that's in SS coming up next, she starts SS, she stays SS, she's fun to play, she's fun to look at, she will clear a lot of the content, she will stay alive, she hits hard, she has different builds, is Shiranui. Well, when the game first started out, she wasn't SS, but they buffed her just right to where, I mean, she is really good, and she starts off strong. You can build her with nothing but SR weapons and supporters, and she will be SS. And Yuki, to get SS, you might have to use like a ultra rare weapon or ultra rare supporter. But Murasaki, actually pretty much everybody except maybe Emily and Shiranui will be SS with SRs. And when level 75 comes about, I mean, you can even still have her at SS with SRs at 75. That's how good Shiranui is. And like I said, she's probably from the top list, probably the most fun to play, even more fun than Yuki. And those are I call them utility because, like, I mean, they will get you through all the content. They're SS, you should get Emily for auto farming. Shizui does some auto farming, but Emily's faster. If you're just gonna be auto farming, you pick Emily. But if you're gonna clear content, everybody at the top will clear a lot of the content for you. Everybody below this you get because you like the character, their waifu, or you just you want the next characters to get, or because, like I said, the top characters are not the most fun to play except for Shiranui. She's a lot more fun than the rest at the top, but everybody at the top will just clear all content. The next one I'm doing is I'd say the most controversial one, Rinko. And I don't have anything against Rinko. She was one of the, I think she was the after I got Asagi, Yuki, and Sakura, the cheapest characters, I went for Rinko next, and I think some of the other characters were already out, but because I really wasn't more free to play when I started playing this. I started spending some money on this game, but I was more free to play in the beginning, and I got Rinko. And I say, when early game Rinko is A. She has like her moves like stun and flinch, give like a stun lock to enemies, and so she can do pretty well in the first few levels. But I'd say once you get closer to level 75, it's like she hits a wall and she drops down to C, starting like a good start at A early levels, but then she drops down to C, and it's like a wall she never gets past. I mean, she probably starts to get past it at level 81, but I mean that's a different wrinkle already, because I mean, like I said, I'm not going past 75. This is free to play tier list, and she does not feel very good. You have to invest a lot into her. I think she's like the highest investment character that you have to go, and then maybe Asuka, Tokiko, and maybe another one are really high investment, but she is the highest investment character. And anything that you would spend making her better, you would probably get her to S. Everybody else, you would get them to like SS. Like if you give them a sustained supporter with a high enchanted weapon, like I said, all the investment you would give to Wrinkle, any of the other characters, okay, maybe Asuka, you still wouldn't get her to SS, but you would get pretty much all of everybody else to SS, and Asuka and Rinko, you'd only get them both to S. And like I said, probably the most controversial, and it's not that like that I'm hating, because she was one of the first characters I really liked in her design, and I just said that Asuka is kind of bad too, and she actually is my waifu, so yeah, that's like yeah. Well, from there, let's continue. Next one is going to be one of the more recently released characters. Let's go with Aina. Aina starts off, I'd say S. Again, this is the early build. That's why Wrinkle starts off. So Aina starts off as S, and she pretty much just stays there. And the reason I don't have her higher is because at SS, on both of them, at SS, they're like the complete package. They do not need a sustain supporter, a sustain weapon. They have their own sustain. S and A, it's like the lower it goes, it's like the more sustain they're gonna need to beat a level. And Aina has some sustain, but it's not very good, which is why I'm keeping her at S. If battle keeps going, it might whittle her away while she's whittling away at somebody. Like if she's playing a level above her, she starts off at S because she hits hard, but her sustain is not good enough. Asagi and Wrinkle also have sustain, but their sustain is not good enough either, and that's why Wrinkle's sustain, it's not even good that it drops her all the way down to C. Everybody SS, great sustain, good sustain, okay sustain, bad sustain, really, I mean, her sustain is not even the worst in the game for Wrinkle, but it's like she can be knocked out of it. It doesn't do enough sustain. She needs an adjustment to her kit. After that, well, Annerose is next on this, but I'm not doing Annerose next. Like I said, it's a free to play. We're going with Astaroth, and Astaroth starts at A. She goes A, but again, she hits really hard, but she's a little bit awkward to play, and that's one of the reasons why I'm putting her at A, because technically she can get to S, but it's more like a character difficulty, like learning them, learning to use her is a lot harder. Like all these characters up here, I mean, they're pretty straightforward. Murasaki just trade blows, just keep trading blows, and everybody tries to play all the other Taimanin in the same way, and you can't. The only one designed for that is Murasaki. Shisui, she can kind of trade blows, but like I said, if it gets too crazy for her, she just dashes away and starts her heal, and she can just be healing while her guardian's protecting her. And so that it's these are a little bit more straightforward. Astaroth's play style, I mean, some people can play the heck out of her, which is good, but I mean, if, like I said, if you don't have a good phone to control her, because some phones, the touchscreen doesn't work very well, or maybe you have a cracked screen. I don't know how you're playing, but you have to have a perfect control of her on like PC, phone, whatever, to actually play her well, because she is like she's not a high investment character, she's like a high skill level and character. You have to like really play her. I know some people say that about Rinko, but even at a high skill level, she's still pretty low. And that is also why the reason I keep her at about A, because like she needs sustain and she doesn't have sustain, and she's a little bit difficult. Like if you could, like if somebody can play her and they can show that, well, she can clear content, she could be S, but like I said, you actually have to learn how to play her. Oh, next, that is waifu, and I say she starts off at B. She's never as bad as Sakura. Never as bad as Sakura, even though some of her builds she does feel as bad as Sakura. You have to, I mean, she's kind of C, but she's just not as bad as early Sakura. She's just not as bad as early Sakura. And so that's why she's at B, because Sakura just is bad. And she stays at B. She doesn't. You can get her to A with certain playstyles and weapons, but again, that's also playstyle. Just like Astaroth would be bumped up to S with a good playstyle. I'm trying to give a tier list to where like maybe you're playing on a bad phone, maybe your control sucks. There's some type of lag in your PC system, or maybe I don't know. You're not as super great at games. This is like a pastime to you, so you're not gonna go super like gamer. So that's why she's B. She can hit A, but you have to be like really into like this type of fighting type game for her to be A. This is, like I said, more free to play. Somebody taking it easy, wants to relax, doesn't want to freaking stress out in the game. So Astaroth would be S if a high level player, even though with the same supporters. Asuka would also go up, but like I said, this isn't that type of tier list. I'm giving you like a straightforward tier list to where like expectations, but what to expect from these people. Next up is the almost newest character, but I mean Hebiko's out now. Like I said, no Hebiko. Still haven't decided where to put her, but I spent time with Eleanor already, and for Eleanor, I would say she starts off with a good solid A. She's just a good character, well balanced. She doesn't really have sustain. She has a sustained weapon, but it's paid. Again, this is free to play, and she stays at a good S. I mean a good A. She stays at A. And she's ranged. She hits pretty hard. She's just an all-around good character. She's not great, but she's an all-around good character. She's fun, and going through, she stays at A. And that brings us to Felicia. Felicia is again another interesting character, because she will go to S because she has several ways of getting sustain, and it's pretty much all color builds, and so she always has sustain in some way or another. It just depends on what, but she's a good player. You can actually play her multicolored. Most characters, like you expect, to just go like a full support color builds, but she's actually at her best with a mixed. She has really good sustain, but some people put her at SS, but it's more again skill level, for the player skill level. and just like Astaroth would move up one level, Asuka would move up to A with their high level skill player. Talisha would probably be an SS, but like I said, not everybody's a high level skill player. Not everybody wants to like put that time into the game. This is more like it's a mobile gacha game, so it's like this is for people who just want to take it easy. And so this is where she's at. If you're gonna just take it easy, not try to push it, just this is where she's at. And she's at S, and well, actually I put her in the wrong one, but actually she stays at S in both of them. So like I said, she doesn't really move up, move down. She just stays at S because her heals are easy to do. Like they're like real easy to do. The hardest part is just more like crowd control. Like I said, that's more of a skill issue. Even she can go higher. The next one is Ingrid, and Ingrid I would say B, because she's before she was a huge glass cannon. They buffed her once and then they rebalanced her and actually changed her skills recently. But when you're first starting out, I'd say she's B, because like you have to actually get to know how to play her, and she's not as straightforward as some of the other characters. She's another high skill level. She's not high investment, she's high skill level. And she starts off at B because she's kind of like Sakura. She doesn't come together until later, and she just takes a while to kill enemies, even early. And one of her best weapons is an SR, and also the crit weapons. Everybody says that those are pretty good weapons, but when you're first starting out and your crit rate is low, it's better to actually put arena weapons on them because they have higher stats. It's easier to SL, because even if you have a SL1, you're not going to crit very much because it's still early game and your crit rate is super low. And that's what one of Ingrid's problems is that she doesn't start critting really on a constant basis till she gets to like level, I'd say like 65. So it's not till later that Ingrid gets to A. She doesn't have sustain and so again, she can probably hit S with a good skilled level player, but she's at A. She'll be at A. Next up is Sue. I say Sue also starts off at A. She's real straightforward. This is not the right one. Sue starts off at A. She can clear up some of clear a lot of the content. She's straightforward. She won't totally destroy everything, but she won't go down. She'll put up a good fight, and she's actually pretty fun to play. She has and her attack string is continuous, so that like builds up her player skill level need. So you have to kind of like time her attacks. But I mean, she's real straightforward. It's like she's A. She doesn't have sustain. That's where she'll be. And I say, well, I already put her here in A. She stays at A with some builds, but you have to have all the right gear, all the right support. Like I said, this applies to pretty much everybody. You can pretty much get almost everybody to SS or A. Even Asuka and Rinko, you can get them to S, and you can get Sue to be like low SS. But on just a free-to-play basis, a casual skill, she's at A. And then Kirara. I say it like that because a lot of people tend to put her like at C or D, and it's funny because I find that she is one of the easiest characters to play. She's straightforward. She's kind of like Asagi, just attack. Then Asagi does her bullet time. Kirara does her freeze time, so she slows everybody. But unlike Asagi, she doesn't slow them down as much as Asagi, but she slows them down a lot. But she also applies a defense debuff, and so it's like a lot of people complain about her, but she hits really hard. And then when you apply the debuff, and I mean her dash is one of the better dashes out of all the characters, and I mean with a skilled character, she's like a high S. But like I said, I put her at A because I guess people just can't get the hang of her fighting style or something. I don't know, because I mean she's always been like a good character, and she stays at A. She doesn't really change too much. She's just still debuffs, still hits pretty hard with her normal attack, and then her skills also hit hard. Like I said, I don't know if it's like playing on a bad phone, because I mean you do have to jump, like run around with her a lot. Like some of the characters know, like I said, a lot of people want to play all the other characters like Murasaki, just staying in one spot and trading blows, and using your specials. But a lot of these characters like Sue, Ingrid, Eleanor, actually this whole row, you have to just stay dodging and dodging and dodging and then attack. And that brings us to Kurenai. Kurenai say starts off at S. She has some pretty good sustain. She has some pretty good skills, and she's really good. Like I've mentioned in the previous videos, she and Felicia both flinch a lot. But like I said, Felicia, her ability to heal actually makes up for her flinch, but Kurenai's heal isn't as strong as Felicia's, and so which Kurenai starts off real strong. Like that's why she's S. Actually, this is the wrong one. Kurenai starts off as S, but as the game advances, Wrinkle started off strong, but she drops to C because enemies start getting super armor, and her attack has a stun lock, but only on enemies without super armor. And as the game goes on, more and more enemies have super armor, and she stops stun locking enemies, and so that's where the wall with Wrinkle starts to come, because they gave her probably the best stun lock out of all the characters, but if they have super armor, that doesn't apply, and so she doesn't have anything to get past that. That's the wall she gets. She doesn't start to break it until she gets like level 81, and that's not even, it's like a different way of breaking the wall. Kurenai is kind of the same way. She hits a wall because there's more enemies on screen. There's more range projectile launching enemies, and so she flinches a lot, and she flinches out of a lot of her skills. Like, and even weak characters make her flinch like a lot. She has a long flinch animation, and so that actually drops her down to A, because even her unlimited supporter was trying to deal with her flinching, and I think without the flinching she would be maybe even close to a SS character. But since she flinches so much, because she is really strong, but like I said, she flinches so much, there's been times where it's like levels like where it has like a lot of ranged attack, then other characters recover a lot faster than her. Like as soon as they're hit, they're recovered. Murasaki doesn't flinch at all. Almost, it's rare for her to flinch, but other characters don't flinch too much. I say the ones, Kurenai is probably in the whole game, she has the worst flinch, and they probably did that to balance her out, and it kind of does balance her out, but it also weighs her down. And so you have to actually do build specifics to try to get around her flinch. You can give her supporter that kind of like lets her get away from, if like she's being mobbed by a bunch of ranged projectiles, it'll actually make her disappear. Or you can pick the right skills that she flinches a lot less, but she only has like 1 or 2 skills where she will not flinch during the motions of doing them. But I mean, she's a very fun character to play, but like I said, her flinch brings her down to A as the game goes on, and the more the game goes on, she just stays at A. She's never gonna be too much of an SS, because the further you go into the game, there's more super armor, also stopping Wrinkle, more projectile, more ranged characters, more, it's like it starts to play into her weaknesses. That's why she drops from S to A. Next one is Micah. Micah starts off, wrong one. start off over here. Micah starts off at A, maybe even S. I'm just placing her at A again because she does hit hard. She's easy to build. Shiranui and Micah. Shiranui, you can get her to SS with super rares and super rares weapons. Super rare supporters. That's how good she is. You can get her to SS with super rares. All these other characters, you require maybe an ultra rare weapon or an ultra rare supporter to get like a real strong SS even in the later levels. Shiranui and Micah, give them SS. I have Micah because she's a little bit weird to play, and again that's game design. They didn't want to make all the characters the same, so they made her really different. Anybody that's like, oh, I don't like the way she plays, I mean, she was meant just like Astaroth. They were meant to be played differently, so all the characters wouldn't be the same. So if, like I said, both of them can be very strong within a skilled player's hands, but if you just casually playing this, she's A. She starts off A. She doesn't hit, well, she hits very hard, but I mean, you're gonna have to learn how to get used to it and learn how to her play style. And she stays, I kind of want to put her, she's an S character. Once you get her to like 65 where she can crit a lot with her crit super rare, just like Ingrid's crit super rare, she can go to S, but I don't put her in S, even though she should belong there. Again, this is more for like a free-to-play casual, and her skill level, player skill level is kind of high. Even though if you get it, it's simple. It's like she's probably one of the simplest character to play and fun. But if you pick the wrong skills and the wrong play style, she's annoying to play, and she does not feel right. But if you pick the right skills and play her the right way, she's probably one of the funnest characters to play, look at, everything. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that takes skill investment, and she should be S, but I'm placing her in A because, like I said, this is for free to play, somebody just casually playing this game, so not somebody that's gonna be super hardcore. Next one is Nagi. Nagi's more straightforward than Micah, which is why I put her in S, and she has good sustain in her blue build. She has like amazing sustain. It's almost as good as Murasaki's, and actually everybody here has crazy sustain. Her sustain is almost on that level. So is Felicia's, but they're not as easy to play because these two are ranged, so you don't have to be close. These two can trade shots, and then Shiranui's, I mean, she's has to play close, but her playstyle allows her to get in and get out before she gets heavy damage. Nagi, you have to stay close, and she has great sustain, but it depends on how you use it. And then it's a short range sustain, so you kind of have to get close to use it, and it's multi-hit, and if you do it in the middle of a mob, you can actually get healed really good, or you can just hit one person and get healed a little bit. But like I said, when you get into a mob, that requires you, and you could be knocked out of that skill, so it's high risk, high reward. Or you can go for the one enemy that's by himself and just get like it's guaranteed you're gonna get healed, but it's gonna be a lot less heal. But I mean, her red doesn't have any sustain, but it hits hard, which is why I put her in S at the beginning, because she's more straightforward than Micah, and she doesn't need her crits. She doesn't need crits to go. Ingrid needs crits, Micah needs crits to be in a higher level. Nagi starts off with her red build that's really strong, or blue, which she can heal. She can like go above, and she stays at S because the further along she gets, the more she's gonna get healed from her attacks. And so she starts at S, stays at S. And she's, like I said, she's not a hard player. Next one I say is another controversial pick because a lot of people always have her at C. Oh, wrong one. Let's go over here. A lot of people have her at C next to Sakura, and they keep her really low. And Noah, I say, starts at a good A. If her blue build gives her some sustain and lets you survive, it might be like a long drawn out fight, but she'll survive. But like I said, it's a drawn out fight. It doesn't feel good to play. I can understand why people put her lower, because she doesn't feel very good to play on blue, and a lot of people only run blue. And then on green, green is the second one people run, and on green she has to stay really close, and they're not ranged. A lot of her attacks are also blue, but blue gives her more defense. Green, she also has to play pretty close, and so she doesn't last very long. Blue, she lasts longer, but she takes forever to beat levels unless you have it built up. But again, this is just like what you generally expect if you're going to be playing this game casually, free to play. The reason I have her in A is everybody underestimates her red build, and her red build is one of her strongest builds and her most fun build. And okay, she probably goes at A. I'll put her in B because you do have to get used to it. But like I said, just like Michael, once you get to her fighting style, it's like it's super easy. It is her fighting style is super easy. It's easy to it's fun. Her red build is her fun build, but it's also a real powerful build. But I'll put her at B because I mean she's probably like you have to have some pretty good skills to actually get her to A. So I'll put her at B, even though I don't want to. And she later on, same thing. She'll move to A. She moves up. I had her staying at A, but as she gets more stronger, she goes to A. On a highly skilled level, I told you the red build hits way above its build. You can get her to S with player skill level, and that's where she'll go. I know a lot of people always keep her a lot lower. I mean, I even lowered her. I think she should be an A, but I mean it's because you have to know how to play her, so I lowered her for like skill level investment. Then that brings us right when we're that brings us to Oboro. I say Oboro starts off. I was gonna put Oboro in A, but I'm gonna put her in B because a lot of people don't get her fighting style also, just like Noah. And so you have to play. You do not play these the same. You do not play Noah the same way you play Oboro or Ingrid. I mean, all these characters are made completely different. They do not want to make all the characters feel the same at all. So you have to play each and every character differently. And Oboro has a high skill level also. You have to learn to set up enemies. Like she's like a big old bowling ball just rolling over enemies, but if you don't send her the right way, she's not gonna like just smash the enemies. Then that's what one of the things is. If you can understand part of the game that you just don't attack enemies, you actually line enemies up, you group enemies together, then a lot of the game will be easier. Shiranui, you line characters up. Oboro, line characters up. Nagi, Astaroth, Noah, you group characters. They don't have to be all lined up, but you want to group them. Kirara, Sakura, and some of the other characters, you don't want them grouped up. You actually want the people separate. Like Asagi, you don't want them grouped up. You don't want the enemies grouped up. Rinko, Asuka, Sakura, you want the enemies to stay away so you can kill one enemy fast and move on to the next one. That's how you have to play Asagi, Rinko, Asuka, Sakura, Kirara, Sue. You have to like totally eliminate one enemy really quick, move on to the next one. Kill one, move on to the next one. But some of these other characters, you want the enemies either to get lined up or to get grouped up. And I guess that's where that's probably a subject for another video. Let's continue here. Next one is Rin. Rin starts off at S because she has a really good sustain on her green build, but her red build hits hard, just like Nagi. Their red builds hit hard, so you can clear a lot of the content, even the green. But and if you're gonna want to go to some of the harder content, you want to actually keep kicking their sustain. And so she has really good sustain, and if you want to go, I say if you want to have fun, or if you can beat the content pretty quickly and don't have to worry about health, go with red. But if you're going through the harder content, you have to go with green for her sustain. And she starts off S. The reason she's not SS and she has the potential to get there is that unlike these other characters that give them room to heal, she has to get up like real close to the enemy to activate her heal, and that leaves her open to get attacked again and knocked out of it mid heal. And so all these characters, like even if she's being attacked, her heal's so good it'll make up for it. She has her bodyguard. Shiranui, it could be a distance heal. Her heal is close up, but she jumps up into the air, and that keeps her pretty safe until she comes back down if you still haven't kicked everybody's butt. But usually she melts everybody, and so when you're coming down, if there's still an enemy there, it's only gonna be one enemy that kind of smacks you, so you'll actually end up with more energy being recovered than you lost. But Rin's not that way. If you might get smacked the wrong way when you're in the middle of healing, and you might end up losing more health than you went in to get. So that's why she's not an SS. And she stays there. Whoa, I didn't even put Oboro. I didn't even put Oboro. I forgot to put Oboro. I say Oboro moves up to A, because she doesn't feel as bad as these two. And again, I'm not trying to pick on Rinko, getting Rinko haters. This is my waifu. It hurts me to put her in B. But if you can, she hits super hard, and if you just learn to line up your enemies, she completely destroys them. Again, Noah, just group up your enemies. They don't have to be lined up, but group them up to destroy them. Kirara, keep your enemies separate and just freaking take one down, move on to the next. Take one down, move on to the next. Same goes for these two, and her. keep them separated. Take one down. That brings us to Saika. Saika, I will say she's like a B character. She's strong, she hits hard, but she has to get real close to the enemies, and that leaves her vulnerable to be attacked too. So she's really strong. She can clear the content, but I mean, like I said, a lot of her moves make her, she's a brawler, she has to stay in close, and that she gets hit a lot. So she's just gonna go in the B. I mean, she's, like I said, a lot of the characters are good, but if the playstyle, even with a good playstyle, it would just maybe make her barely an A. Unless you have her green limited, but again, that we're not talking about any type of limited. So she would just, a really good player might get her to A. A really good player can get these to almost S, because they have a high skill level. But if you have that skill, you can these are like almost an S. They're like a high A, these characters. Actually, a lot of almost all the characters move up with the high skill level. And Saika, I would say she moves up to A. She doesn't she again, she gets a sustain at 81, but we're not talking about 81 levels. That brings us to Chizuru. And Chizuru, she's at A. She's pretty good. She has some good debuffs, but again, that starts to fall into skill level to where you can get her to S, because she has great debuffs, and she also has a sustain, but it's a bad sustain. It's not a very good sustain. And I mean, I mean, it's better to not even consider her having a sustain. That's how bad the sustain is. Just like Aina's sustain isn't very good, but I mean, I guess they have one. And she starts off at A because she's kind of straightforward. She's not as difficult as these are to get the concept of using them. Even if you get her concept of using her, she's not very good. It's like you're chipping away at energy. But these hit harder than Sakura. But I mean, she's a little bit more straightforward to use. And she stays at A. Again, if you get the SR build, like her weapon to damage humans or machines, and you get to know how to use her, she can easily be an S, even with SRs. Easily be an S, but that brings in not resource investment, but skill investment. And so you can get her to S, but she's A. She stays at A. Next one is Sora. And Sora, I say Sora's A. She might even be S, because she does a good sustain and she doesn't need too much, and some of her moves hit hard, but a lot of them are just like they just chip away at energy. I mean the enemy's health. So I don't know if I want to put her in S, because she can be that good, but I mean, she does require setup, and she's at her best when you line up enemies so she can hit them with her arrow. You want enemies grouped up together or lined up, and it's preferably it's better to have them lined up. And that's, again, like I said, a skill. And I say she moves up because she starts hitting harder, and so her skills hit a lot harder, so her heal gets a lot better. And even if you don't get better her, she's ranged, you just stay away from the people and then use your healing skill, and it completely destroys enemies. That's what gets her to S, because she has real good sustain and simple to use. Pretty much the last one is Tokiko. And Tokiko, I don't know if I want to put her C or B. I'm putting her C, because she is another character that does not hit very hard when you first get her. It's like I mean, she's not even chipping away, she's pecking away at enemies' energy and enemies' health and energy. She's not chipping away. Sakura chips away. Tokiko like pecks away. She hits a lot, but she doesn't hit hard at first. She can be an A character from the beginning, but you would have to play her ranged, because she does a lot of debuffing, and you don't have to get close, even if she has, because one of the reasons she's bad is because she's busy slowly taking away the enemy's health, but that leaves her, since she's not ranged, to be hit, and when she gets hit hard, and so she dies. But if you pick her red range skills and just go full ranged on her, she goes to A. So she can either be C or A. She could be C or A. A for ranged, and then C for her other skills, because she has no sustain, and I mean it requires her to be a brawler. She doesn't have high defense. I mean, it's like C or ranged A. And at A, all you do is just stay away from the enemies, and she actually takes away more health being ranged, because she does like a lot of, and one of her best weapons is her super rare that is 40% skill damage. That's like always 40% skill damage. Her other weapons, like one of her ultra rares, she has to hit them with a normal several times for them. That's like the crit weapons. Her other weapons, she has to hit them several times with a normal attack to build the debuff, and it never reaches 40. They do not reach 40. So one of her best weapons is actually an SR, and if you put her with the SR red, the ranged characters, and then even a Homura as a main, and then the crit rate up, and then the crit damage up, all the red, those 3 reds, that's what gets her to A, because you're a ranged character, you're nowhere near the enemy. So even though they might catch you once in a while, but if they don't, she will be able to take out enemies way like she belongs here in A with the ranged. But if you go melee, she drops her to C. I mean, it might even drop her to D, but there is no D. I really didn't want a D. I mean, it's low enough here. And as you build her, she goes to B. She doesn't really move up unless, again, you do her ranged, or you invest a little bit more into her, and she gets a good solid A. She gets a good solid A, just like before. She could get an A with ranged, or with some good defense and sustained supporters. I mean, again, this is free to play. Free to play, she stays ranged. It's A. Non-ranged, it's B. Because you can get some sustained events, but I mean, there's not many. I mean, well, there are a good few. There's the Felicia event, but like I said, she comes out like once a year, and you might not have her. You can put her on her, but she can come up with some interesting builds in ranged, because like I said, just give her all the red super rares and she'll be an A. With red super rares, she'll be an easy A, even a high A, low S. Okay, maybe not a low S, but a high A. But ranged A, and then everything else maybe C later on in the levels, because like I said, no sustain, no invincibility, no awaken points, no ultra rare crazy supporters, no limited, and so you need that. And if you give her some of those, she can actually get to maybe close to SS if you give her a sustained supporter and a defense, or because she does crazy debuffs too. Her clairvoyance skill like knocks down damage, but I mean, usually you have to be close to the enemies, so you need some type of sustain to be taking shots in the times that you miss on those. But here's my tier list. Whoa, here is level 1 to 65 tier list, free to play. 1 to 65 best, and then better, and then going down. But I wouldn't really go with this one. I would say go with this list, except for Sakura. Oh, she's gonna feel horrible when you first start playing her. Horrible. But with super rare investments, event supporters, ultra rares, event weapons, arena weapons, this is what you can expect. This is what you can expect. And again, if you start playing your character and you get really good at your character, all these characters can easily move up a level. Like these can move up, maybe not to SS, but maybe like a in between. All these characters can easily be SS. And like I said, all of them, she might be able to, like, everybody can move up just with like a little bit, like a 1 or 2 extra, like let's say you get lucky in the gacha and you get like a good weapon, a good supporter, you can easily kick these up a level easily. Now even if you don't, like, you have her everything super rare, but if you start to know how to play her best high level, you can get her almost to SS just like that, because she will not get hit, but she will totally destroy everybody. So this is I say this is the list you should go off of. But like I said, with this one, when you see her, she's gonna be horrible, feel horrible to play for a while, and then she's gonna get awesome. She's gonna come alive, and like you're gonna have fun playing with her. Wrinkle's gonna feel awesome at first, but then you're gonna hit a wall, and she's not gonna be able to break that wall till she gets like really high level or really good equipment and investments. Asuka, I would say one of her best weapons is this weapon that speeds her up. But again, that's also playstyle, and that'll kick her up pretty high. But I say go with this one. This is it. My tier list.